11 years ago, when BTS was just beginning to write their own story, they posted a tweet that now seems almost prophetic. Looking back, it's easy to see that Taehyung and Jungkook already seemed bound by an invisible force. From those early days, they were like two magnets, inseparable, always seeking each other's company, sharing laughter and gestures only they understood. And today, as Taehyung shared a precious memory from 2015 on Fan Cafe, from the I Need You era, we were once again confronted with that unmistakable image, the same old Taekook, so close, so natural, as if time stood still between them. At first, they were like best friends, getting into mischief together, understanding each other without words. But little by little, that friendship transformed into something stronger, something deeper. They fell in love slowly, so quietly and confidently, that they didn't even announce it loudly. They showed it with glances, with gestures, with how they cared for each other. And more than 10 years later, they continue building that love, pure, loyal, and as strong as a rock. 10 years walking together, hand in hand. 10 years facing storms, overcoming obstacles that only made their bond stronger. And recently, we saw them again at Jungkook's house, so comfortable, so in love, flirting as if it were the first day, forgetting everything around them. That's why I believe in Taekook. Because their love isn't something that appeared out of nowhere or that fades with the noise of the moment. It's something real, something that has grown over the years, that has withstood everything life has thrown at them. And even though there's commotion and rumors now, that will pass, it will die down as it always does. What will never disappear is that love between them, a love that knows no distance, no time, no difficulties. I remember when, in the early days of the group, Jungkook was a shy little boy who barely dared to speak, while Taehyung was already a ray of sunshine, charismatic, eccentric, and full of life. It was Taehyung who, with his personality, drew Jungkook out of his shell. He made him laugh, challenged him, and protected him. And Jungkook, in turn, became Taehyung's anchor, the one who truly listened, the one who calmed him when the world became too noisy. They were like two pieces of a puzzle that fit together perfectly, and that chemistry became so evident that even the other members of the group would playfully tease them about it. Then came the era of I Need You, a song that marked a turning point in BTS's career. It was a moment of maturity, of change, and it was also the stage where we saw Taehyung blossom in a more visible way. In those videos and behind-the-scenes photos, we saw them together all the time. Not just as friends anymore, but as something more. There was a way they looked at each other, a way their bodies unconsciously sought each other out, that spoke of an affection that went beyond friendship. And today, when Taehyung relives those memories on Fan Cafe, he can't help but think that that love was already there, waiting for its moment. That first BTS livestream was something no one will easily forget. It was the first time in so long that we saw Taehyung and Jungkook sitting side by side, not separating for a second. The energy between them was so intense you could cut it with a knife. They were so in love, so lost in each other, that you could see they were fighting with all their might not to cross the line right there, in front of everyone. Their eyes couldn't lie. Every time they looked at each other, there was something more, something that screamed I love you without saying a word. Their body language was an open book, restless hands, fingers looking for any excuse to touch, little smiles that escaped when they thought no one was watching. They were so madly in love that the air around them seemed charged with electricity, as if the love between them was so strong that even time stood still. The best part is that this livestream wasn't planned or fake. It happened just as their schedules aligned after so much time apart due to work and commitments. They had already finished filming everything the company had scheduled, so they could finally be themselves, without scripts or cameras telling them to act a certain way. And there, in that moment, they let themselves go. Jungkook couldn't help but be himself. His intuitive hand, almost without thinking, went toward Taehyung, but stopped just in time, as if he suddenly remembered they were live. But he couldn't hold back for long. A moment later, he couldn't resist the temptation and his fingers slid down to Taehyung's neck, a quick touch but charged with desire. And then, when we least expected it, came that moment many of us remember as something epic, Jungkook examining Taehyung's abs. His hands didn't just touch, they explored, feeling every muscle, every inch of skin, as if he wanted to memorize everything. And Taehyung, for his part, didn't hold back. His fingers caressed Jungkook's hand with a gentleness that said it all, "You're mine." That hungry hand, that way of touching that spoke volumes, showed us how much they desired each other, how much they loved each other. It was as if the world disappeared and only the two of them existed, lost in their own universe of passion and love. But what gives me goosebumps the most are Taehyung's eyes when he looks at Jungkook. There's a tenderness, an adoration that can't be faked. And in that live stream, there was a moment when their eyes met, and it was as if they signed a silent pact. After this, it's just you and me. That small handshake, that almost imperceptible smile, was the confirmation that their love goes beyond the cameras and the fans. It's real, it's deep, and they can't hide it, even if they try. So yes, that live stream was iconic not only because of the music or the fans, but because it was proof that Taekook is much more than just a simple ship. It's a true love story, about two people who can't resist each other, even though the whole world is watching. And that, my friends, is something worth celebrating. There's something about the way Taehyung and Jungkook share the same space that transforms everything around them. It's not just the physical proximity, but the energy that emanates from them, a kind of magnetic field that binds them together and, at the same time, subtly separates them from the rest of the world. For those who observe them closely, it's clear that their relationship operates on a different frequency. Jungkook, for example, has a look he reserves only for Taehyung. It's not the same look he gives to others, not even his closest friends. It's a look filled with a mixture of devotion, love, and a tenderness that seems to say, "I'm here, with you, always." And Taehyung, for his part, responds with a calmness that only he can offer. He doesn't need words. His smile, light but confident, is enough to confirm that he understands exactly what Jungkook feels, even when they are both silent. Those shared silences are perhaps the most revealing aspect of their relationship. In a world where everything seems noisy and rushed, they find peace in each other's simple presence. Sometimes, in the middle of an interview or a recording, they exchange a fleeting glance, almost imperceptible to others, but which holds a universe of meaning for them. It's as if they're saying to each other, "See? We're still connected, no matter what." And that trust, that certainty they have in what they've built, is what makes their bond so resilient. They don't need to constantly prove it, because they know it's there, dormant, waiting for the right moment to shine again. There was a time, however, when that connection manifested itself in much more explicit ways, moments etched in the memories of those who have watched them grow. One of the most memorable, almost legendary, was when Jungkook, in a moment of pure spontaneity, placed his hands on Taehyung's abdomen. It wasn't a casual or planned gesture. It was as if an inner impulse guided him, as if he needed to confirm with his own fingers Taehyung's strength and warmth. His hands didn't just touch, they explored every muscle with a delicacy that spoke of admiration, of desire, of something much deeper than mere friendship. Taehyung, for his part, didn't move. He remained still, allowing Jungkook to discover him, and then, with a tenderness that stirs the soul, he took his hand and caressed it. It was a perfect moment, where words were unnecessary and only the certainty remained that the space between them was sacred, untouchable by anyone else. But not everything in their relationship is so intense or dramatic. There are also moments of laughter, of jokes only they understand, of everyday gestures that reveal the depth of their connection. Sometimes, Jungkook approaches Taehyung and whispers something in his ear, eliciting a mischievous smile. Other times, it's Taehyung who searches for Jungkook with his eyes, as if he needs to reassure himself that he's still there, by his side. They are small details, almost imperceptible to others, but for them, they mean the world. They are their way of saying I love you without needing to utter the words, of reminding each other that, no matter what happens, they will always have one another. Over time, however, Taehyung and Jungkook have become more reserved. We don't see them together in public as much anymore, nor do they share as many moments as before. But that doesn't mean anything has broken. Those who have followed them for years know that their relationship is still there, solid and real. Sometimes the strongest connections don't need to be constantly in the spotlight. They exist in silences, in knowing glances, in small gestures that only they understand. The absence of constant displays of affection doesn't alter what they have built. In fact, perhaps that discretion is further proof of the maturity of their bond. They no longer need to show the world what they feel, because they know it themselves, and that is enough.